Hi everyone, welcome back to Twinstrology. It's Marla and I'm here today with a special guest, Keleena Malnar. For those of you that don't know Keleena, she is a divine quantum energy healer and DNA and light language key code activator and an Ascension guide. Hi Keleena.
Yes, hello.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So we've worked together a few times before, so you guys probably have seen Keleena on Twinstrology, or we did a workshop together in September, right?
Yeah.
And I've been wanting to make a video with you for a while on unconditional love and helping twin flames understand unconditional love. And I knew you would be the perfect person.
Is it because of my comet amour?
Yes. I was looking at Kaleena's chart last night, and she has the asteroid Amour right on her 10th house cusp.
The asteroid, I said comet. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
So you know about love.
Yeah, I was born in love. So what specifically, tell me, do you want me to explain?
Well, here's the thing. A lot of times, myself or other people will make a post and we'll be talking about unconditional love and how as twin flames we need to come into unconditional love. Truly anyone that's ascending is going to come into unconditional love. And any relationship, you want to elevate that to unconditional love. But, you know, we'll be specific to twin flames with the understanding that we can expand this out.
Okay.
So we'll be talking about unconditional love, and inevitably there'll be someone that says, I unconditionally love my twin, but, and then we can fill in a lot of different scenarios. But my twin is married, but my twin has abandoned me, but my twin abuses me, he's a drug addict, she's a sex addict, and there's a lot of different scenarios where people have pulled away, shut down. They don't see how they can be open energetically.
They're putting stipulations and conditions upon the actual... their own, it's a thought of their own reality is what I'm getting, and they're judging love. Actually, that's what I'm actually receiving. And when you judge love, you create conditions that you place upon someone else's heart. But when you're doing that, you have to remember that everyone's a reflection. So if you're placing a condition upon someone else, then you're placing a condition upon your own self. Therefore, you're creating a barrier. Okay, where two can't come together in unconditional love if there's a barrier there. So the barrier has to be taken down. So no matter what somebody has done, okay, we have to not think of it as being done to us, because actually every person that you have a soul contract with in your life is somebody that's coming in to help you to move forward in your process. So everything is being done for you. So when you look at everything outside of yourself, so if you like take yourself back out of your body and you view yourself from above, like watching a movie, and you actually see what's going on, you'll understand the bigger picture a little better. Unconditional love is no conditions at all, no matter what somebody's done in a relationship, in a friendship, in anything. You have to open your heart and have compassion at all times and at all levels, because as we ascend, we actually go through different levels of each thing, each feeling and emotion. And as you're clearing them through the process, you're getting closer and closer, to becoming that light that you truly are, becoming the love that you truly are, the divine love of source. And that's actually another piece of it. When you meet a twin and you have that first engagement where the heart is cracked, you're feeling the divine love of source that you haven't felt yet in your life. And that's the love that the two people feel, and they want to have that all the time. And it'll disappear like that as soon as You start putting any kind of stipulation on a person, a condition, a preconceived notion, it doesn't matter. You will create these blocks and barriers, and you will not receive that divine source love anymore. Instead, it's the third dimensional reality love rather than the higher fifth dimensional consciousness that we are moving towards, and that love gateway that we are supposed to be in, which is directly connected to the divine.
Mm-hmm.
That just channeled through. I hope that helped.
That was beautiful.
Okay.
But still, I know people are going to say, but that 3D relationship is not healthy for me. So can you just maybe help people go in a little bit deeper? Like, how can they love that person unconditionally while maybe
well, there are some relationships where it may not be healthy for you if there is any kind of physical altercations involved.
Yeah, let's use that as an example.
Okay. That then you need to step back from, absolutely. Okay. But we have to remember that sometimes these lives are karmic. These roles that are being played out are karmic. So we do need to see things. But we also remember that there's a reflection within ourselves that is happening, even though we may not be the person in that relationship that's creating or sending the physical disturbances in the relationship upon someone else. You still have to hold space and hold love in the sacred heart for that person, have compassion knowing what they're going through, because they're having a whole lot of frustrated feelings and emotions coming up too. Feelings are in the heart. Emotions are in the lower chakras. And this is one thing, like in some of the mystery schools I've learned when I'm working with the masters, is that the emotions have to come up and to the feelings, and but the ego's you have to step out of the ego and move to the mind.
Right.
So you have to bring it all into the heart center and balance yourself. So if the relationship's out of balance, you're out of balance as well. If that makes sense.
Yes.
And you can't always place the blame on someone else. If somebody is reacting in a way where they're getting physically abusive, yes, step back. But you have to remember that there's something out of balance within both of you that you need to turn around and really look in the mirror and see what it is. And
you can still love that person unconditionally. Because when you step out of the ego and you see the bigger purpose that you mentioned, right? Everyone is playing a role for us to grow from. So we have to accept that we set everything up to be the way that it is.
Because we came back to have these experiences and continue to learn our lessons. Every lesson we go through and every experience, it's always a lesson in love. And people can look and go, well, how is physical abuse a lesson in love? Because you're learning from it how you don't want to be, if that makes sense. So you're learning from that person in that situation. That's not love, okay? Even though I have to show compassion and give love to that person, their reaction to it, it's not a loving response. So that's where you step back. You really need to truly look at yourself. The other person needs to look at themselves and assess the situation. In a physical departure may happen, and that's okay, because when we're in a physical departure, we're in our own energy where we can actually take the time to look at ourselves, and that's actually more progressive than people think. When you're in that physical departure, that's where growth and expansion happens, and that's where the acceleration for your ascension process happens.
So yeah, thank you, Keleena. I think it's important for people to just know where sometimes we can be at one extreme where we think unconditional love is just giving and giving and giving, which is not true.
No. You have to balance that.
Because, we have to love ourselves unconditionally as well.
Absolutely.
But it's also not getting angry, shutting down, blocking your heart because this is putting a wall up.
Right. When you react in a situation, that's coming from ego. When you take action from the heart, you look at it to resolve the situation. So there's two different ways. The ego reacts. The heart acts. So when somebody's in a relationship, with the twin, if they're in a relationship and one reacts, it'll trigger the other one will react. You see that a lot. And you have that zzz energy going on. But it's actually triggering stuff to come up that hasn't emerged yet. So it needs to come up. It needs to be processed. It needs to be seen in the mirror and eliminated, removed. In order to ascend, all these little pieces, and sometimes they're so fine, and they can come up and be so little, but then boom, they can get really big if you react. So if you take action first and see it for what it is within yourself, it's a lot easier to get through the process by embracing what you're seeing in that trigger in the situation. Embrace it in your heart, embrace it in love, and move forward. That's unconditional. Taking action is unconditional. Reaction is placing a condition.
Okay, do you have a message coming through, Keleena?
Yeah. I'm receiving that in the Sacred Heart is the true harmonic vibration of love. And that's where everybody has to move through. That's the goal, to get there. So to move out of the chakras, do the cleansing through the chakra system to move here and bring the other chakras down. Bringing heaven to earth, because these are lower chakras are earth, the upper are heaven, bringing heaven to earth into the Sacred Heart. That's where the true harmonic vibration is, that they're saying, of your connection to your own divinity, of your God self, connected to Source, that which you are. So in that space is where unconditional love resides. Anywhere out of that space, you're seeking it. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. So, Keleena, how can people cultivate more unconditional love in their life? Journey, especially, let's say, when they're triggered by something.
Well, remaining in the heart. Moving your... You know what? It's such a process. You have to meditate. For those that can't meditate, just be in silence and move to the heart. Focus on your heart. In order to be in that space, one must love themselves first. If you haven't gone through the process enough where you fully and completely love yourself, and you can be in that vibration and just feel that, like, that blissful love. It's like, I'm going to explain how it felt for me. The first time I did that, when I moved into that space and I felt that 0 point love, the unconditional love of Source, I felt like I was floating in the energy of love. I didn't have a physical body. I felt bliss. I felt joy. I felt peace, calm. Nothing else existed around me except for the feeling. And I actually literally saw my body disintegrate, and I just became the universe. But the feelings of unconditional love is I was able to look at everything through the eyes of the heart. I was looking down at the earth, and I saw how much love that I felt for the earth. And then I looked at the stars, and I looked at the planets, and I felt how much love came out of my heart for them. And I was just like, wow, what is this? And I heard, this is unconditional love. And so once I got there to that 0 point, and I had to come back. I didn't want to. I had to come back and be grounded. I was like, no, I didn't want to come back. But it gives you that glimpse of it. And so that you know what it feels like, so that it gives you that goal to come back there. So in that process, in the journey to love, one must love themselves first and feel that and be in that vibration to be able to give that to someone else.
Because, you're finding that within yourself. You're not making your twin responsible to bring you into the state of unconditional love, right?
Exactly.
Like, you find it within yourself. So when the trigger comes from whatever source, you can always go back there.
Exactly.
And say, go back to that bliss for a moment and say, I don't need to feel that. I can let that go.
Yeah.
That's an illusion.
And it's never somebody else's responsibility to make you feel unconditional love. And it's not your responsibility to make someone feel loved. It's not your responsibility to make someone happy. It's everyone has their own responsibility in this process to find those things within themselves first rather than seek it outside. When you're seeking outside, you don't have that for yourself. That's the Ascension game. We all have it within us. It's just that it's been taken away through the process of programming that we're holding the subconscious. So those pieces that need to be healed, those pieces that need to be brought to the surface in this platform, especially, with a twin, you trigger each other constantly because those are the pieces that are still missing within you. So those puzzle pieces, I drew a drawing once of puzzle pieces outside a body and the pieces that were missing that were like shadowed. And, when those pieces can come back in and feel that shadow spot, you start to become that. It was a white puzzle. You start to become the light. That's how the process completes itself. That's how the journey. But you have to be out of the ego because you have to move into your heart. If you're in the ego, you're going to constantly battle it, saying it's not me, it's them, and putting blame on someone else is a condition as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Keleena.
Thank you for having me, and lots of love to everyone on this that's in this process and on this journey. It's not the easiest.
Yeah, I mean, we go back and forth. We go from unconditional love to being triggered into our ego and back and forth until we complete the process.
Yeah, that's the jump back and forth from ego to heart until you can really get there and stay there. But
So
you'll do it.
Good.
You can do it. Everyone can do it. I know you can do it.
Yes, we can.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.